Welcome to this YouTube tutorial where I will show you how you can create a new map chunk for our game JDungeon. So JDungeon consists of multiple map chunks interconnected via some portals. So let's get started. I've opened up the project and here you can see one of those map chunks, which is the world, which is currently deployed on our server, but we want to create a new one. Map chunks are placed under the scenes directory, and there we have map directory, maps directory, and let's create a new one. And for this tutorial I'll make a test map. The test map, like you can see in the world, is a new scene. Add to the scene, which is camel case named, and well, here we create a new script, call it test map, and here what's the important thing is that it extends the world class. Let's close the other tabs, but we will leave the world open. So inside we will take the world as an example. So every map extends the world class, and this world class expects you to fill in some variables in the ready function. We will just copy paste them and create them on the go during this tutorial. What is the map to sync? The map to sync is it's the place where you place your tile maps that will be synced between your client and server. But as you can see in the world map, we made like an abstraction layer called entities. So let's do that. It's not really needed, but it's a habit that I did. Call it entities, and here you create another one called map. Just double checking, but important thing for the map is that you have your Y sort on. So here ordering Y sort on, else certain tiles will not be displayed correctly. And you can see that this map is exactly the same as what was here. So let's do the same for our enemies. Let's create a new node, call it enemies, a new node, call it NPCs, and then you have two other ones, the player spawn, respawn locations, and the portals. But the portals need to be outside the entities. Call it portals. And why it needs to be outside I will show in a second. And then we have one more to go, and that's the, let's just copy the name because I'm a bit lazy. So this is the basic structure, but if you look at this, so don't forget to call the super. If you look at the world example, we have this line, and this line is actually telling you something, that everything under the entities is purely used when you create a map. It's not being used when you are running the game. Everything underneath this will be placed under other nodes, so it can be removed later on. But the portals and the respawn locations, they stay. So they are both there on the client and the server part. So we have our basic map layout. What are we missing? Tiles. So under map we will add a new tile map, And what's important is that you set the tile map to the atlas tile. This is the one that we're using for everything, and that you make the scale bigger. Enable the Y sort, and we call this one ground because it will mostly contain our ground nodes, tiles. And there we go. Now we can start creating our map. A map should be 128 tiles by 128 tiles big. We chose this size because it's not too big and not too small, and if we take this size, we can distribute players over different map chunks, and each map chunk can run on a different server, so it's a bit done for load balancing. On the corner here you can see the coordinates of our tiles that we're gonna place, and I want to make sure that the 0, 0 coordinate is in the middle. So I need to pick the -63 tile to make it exactly in the middle, and I'll zoom out a bit, and that's 63, so I need to go up and right and up. There we go. And now I will draw until I have a size of 128 by 128. I think I need to make it a bit on the y-axis. Well, so this is actually our basis for our map. It disappeared for a second. Well, let's say you want to, it's still giving that error, so let's enable Y-sort. It's still really basic, but let's say that we want to make a path, for example, a path where a player can run on. So let's do that by creating an extra layer, and let's call this one path, and this one will be called base. We select the path, and in the terrain we can select like the dirt medium to create a path. And you can now start drawing a bit, but I think I need to disable the Y-sort. The Y-sort doesn't really, it's not really good for base layers. It's usually for decorations, which we will use in a second. So we just draw a nice little area, and let's say that the path moves to the upper right corner, and there you have another small area. Well, now this is not really a nice map, so what we can do is add another tile map. I call this deco for decorations. Select the atlas again, and then you need to set the scale to 2 again, and in this deco we will enable the Y-sort. I think I need to disable the Y-sort here, as it's not important for the ground, voilà, but for the decorations it is. And let's say that so I selected the deco in a layer 1, call it trees. I want to add some trees to my decoration layer. I select the patterns, the tree, and now I can just add some nice trees next to the pot. I will only make it very simple, but this is the basic JDungeon tiles set mechanism. You can make it as beautiful if you want, extend the tile set as much as you want. The options are endless. Make sure to... why is it complaining? It's complaining that the layer is Y-sorted, but no layer so it's not enabled here, which is now set to true, but why is it? And I think this has to do with the fact, no, let's take this one as an example. I think we forgot to set the ordering to -1. So every base layer needs to set its order to -1. And then this should be fine. Let's double check. This is set in index 0, deco, and this is set index 0. So, okay, we're now set. So now we have our map, but we want to add some entities. And that we can do by adding some enemies. Which is the most fierce enemy that we have? Of course, the sheep. That's a joke. Make sure that the sheep is under the enemies tab, and the easiest thing to make more sheep is to select the sheep and do Ctrl D, and then just drag and place it somewhere else. Now we have some sheep. Okay, let's add some more fierce entities, which is our molded druvar, which is actually just a mushroom lumberjack. Make sure that the mushroom lumberjack is under the enemies, and we will add some more. Voilà. Okay, now we have our map. How can we test it in our game? We can actually just run the game. But I forgot something. So let's close everything. We need to play a bit with the environment variables. So currently it's so when you open up the project, you copy the .env example to env, but we need to adjust it a bit. So here you see that the current map is set to world, but as you can read the command, if you want to have the world selection menu, you need to comment out this one. And since I haven't created any new player, haven't created the player, we will need to create a new player. So let's set this one to our test map, so that when a player is added, it will add it to this map, and it's gonna be added to the 0,0 coordinate. One more thing, our game actually doesn't know about the map yet, so we need to register it, and that's done in the JDungeon singleton, and there is the register maps function, and there you can just copy paste this line and adjust it to our test map. So the test map is under test map, and here, well, so now our game has registered the map, and now we configured our .env. So let's try to run it and see if it works. You run it, we run our gateway, we run our server, but now we get the selection menu. Here we set the test map as a server, and we have our map actually show on the server, but it's more interesting on the client. Well, let me mute this one. Let's create a test player. So account is created, and we connect. And there we are. We are running in our newly created map, and you can see our sheep that are created, and our Y sort is working for the trees, and there we have the molded druvars. Now back to our editor, because the molded druvars are very strong and they can kill you, but currently the game doesn't know where you should respawn if you die. So that's where the respawn locations are for. and these are situated under the, so you have scenes, you go to player, and there we have player respawn. And this is just a marker which will make sure that it's under respawn locations. It's a marker that will tell the game where a player should respawn if died. So let's do it in the middle of the map, and if we play again, close this one, and we start the test map. We run the client, mute this one. There we go. So now I'm alive, but I go to the molded doors, and these ones should hit pretty hard. There we go. Almost dead. Bah. So now I died, and I'm waiting for respawning, but currently I think there is a bug. Nope, there isn't. So I respawned in the location that we configured in the editor. So let's stop again the game. So there is one more thing. We can do the same for NPCs. Not that much to say. You also just drag and drop them and make sure that the NPC is placed under the NPC's node. One more important thing is portals. So every map chunk you can move to another map chunk, but for that you need to have portals. And inside this, for this demo purposes, we will just portal from one side to the other side, but you can do it with any other server. You just need to make sure that all the servers are running at the same time, and that you can do by selecting how many instances you run. So let's create a portal. Portals are located under scenes. You can minimize this. Scenes under map. No, it is under terrain, and under terrain you have a portal. Make sure that the portal is there. Let's duplicate this portal, because you always need to have two portals to move to one on another. So this portal, let's name it. Let's call it the left portal. And this one is the right portal. And the name is important. And why it is? Because you need to reference one to another. So here you have two export variables. You have the destination server and destination portal. Destination server is the name of the server map chunk that contains the portal you're portaling to. Meaning that if you want to portal to the same map, it's the same server, and our server is called test map. And we currently have the left portal, and we want to go to the right portal. But let's see, that's correct. And on the right portal, we want to go to the test map, but go to the left portal. And normally, if I configured it correctly, and if we run the game, so the gateway, we have the server, we select our test map, and then we mute it, we have test, and we connect. And now if I run, you can see this portal, and hopefully, and you can also see Turtle. And if we go through the portal, we are now at the left portal. And if we go to the left portal, we end up in the right portal. One thing that you'll notice is that I forgot to put the Y sort on the portal as well. And normally now the player should be correctly displayed over the portal. So that's it. I've shown you how you can create a new map chunk, how you can create decorations on this map chunk, how you can add enemies, to this mob chunk NPCs and create a portal between different mob chunks. It's not that difficult, I think. Be creative and create as much mob chunks as you want. And if you have any questions, make sure to check our Discord or Reddit channel to ask some advice. Thanks for watching and see you guys soon. Bye.